All right, let's hear it for Lockify.
I have to start by just thanking Jason and the whole launch team. The launch experience up to at least this moment has been excellent. Bad things happen when sensitive communications, be that financial information, legal, passwords, you name it, end up in the wrong hands. Compromised accounts, websites, identities, privacy law violations resulting in stiff fines and other penalties, and PR nightmares. Unfortunately, today's encrypted communication systems all require a frustrating combination of registration, software installation, and the coordination of keys. You might be able to get over these challenges, but in most cases, your less savvy recipient will not be able to. This is why we created Lockify, the simplest way to encrypt and share information, as easy as using a URL shortener. And like a URL shortener, it creates a link that you pass on to your recipient. Everyone knows what a link is and knows what to do with it. So let's take a look. As a startup, we of course frequently have to share sensitive financial information. Just the other day, I had to send Chris our new financial account and PIN. Obviously going to be very careful with this. I just pop it into Lockify at the top there. The link automatically expires after 3 views or 1 day. You can change that if you want, but that's fine for this right now. The link is going to be essentially unguessable, but it could be intercepted, and for that reason, we recommend offering another layer of authentication. Our authentication methods have all been designed so they don't require any pre-coordination communication between the two parties. So for example, you could ask the other party a question. Where did we have lunch yesterday? Or maybe something better like, what was the exact amount of the last invoice? Using Gmail and OAuth, if I know the recipient's Gmail account, I could merely put that in, their address, and they would be required to log on to Gmail in order to authenticate. Today, though, I think I'm going to use our latest method, which is phone-based, using Twilio and Tropo. I merely type in the phone number, be that the cell phone or landline for my recipient. And with that, I Lockify. Kaboom! There's the link. And it really is just a link. You can share it any way. You're not tied to any sort of communication system. Email, SMS, chat, you name it. So I send this over to Chris. He clicks on it from his email. He ends up here, says, yes, I trust Jack. And now he's queued to enter his code, or rather to enter his phone number. And immediately he's offered the choice of either having the one-time code texted to him or phoned. He chooses text. In a couple minutes it'll show up on, or a couple seconds it'll show up on his phone. He enters it. Decryption just happened right there on the client. Thank you. You can see there's that big orange button there. That's by default. We give the recipient the choice to delete to early expire the link right then and there for security purposes. Chris does that, done. Later that day, I come back. I just want to make sure he got it. I go to what's called the Lockify log. It's where I can see all the links I've created. There it is, and right at the top, I see Chris's link. It's in red because he's expired it. As long as I'm in here, I look at my other links. Hey, that second one, I can see they already viewed it, and that's sensitive stuff. I think I'm going to early expire that too. Done. Okay, so right now, we just showed you all Lockify working in our app. Lockify is a lot bigger than that, though. It's API-based, and we'll be making that public soon. And so, if you run any sort of site and want to use the Lockify API, For instance, let's say you have a CRM system where you're frequently sending out sensitive account information. You hit our API, you Lockify that information, and it's delivered securely. All right, want to show you 2 more features that are coming out this spring, Lockify Me and file support. Lockify Me is for companies that are frequently receiving sensitive information from their customers. And believe it or not, we've made it even easier than the regular Lockify. The company merely pre-configures this page and puts in how they want to authenticate. They then put a badge on their website or blog or whatever that says, need to send me sensitive information. You can imagine lawyers, financial advisors, and angel networks all doing this. So here we have Lockify Me for Open Angel Forum. Lockify is officially starting our fundraising today. We'll be going to Open Angel Forum and Angel List, and we would love to see this sort of functionality in the future. Some of the angels have asked us for some of our very sensitive future plans for the next 18 months. And so we enter them, we attach the file here, push one button, a link is created. It's automatically only able to be authenticated by Open Angel Forum. We send it to them using their usual methods. And so with that, we are Lockify, and we're the safest way to safely send sensitive information. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Let me ask my judges, what did you think about a secure version of Twitter/Bitly? WikiLeaks in a box. What is it?
Worried that it would be a small market size. So how often will the average person need to use a system like this, and why will they use it out of the flow of their regular working day in email and other tools?
Right. Well, let's start with businesses, because this is primarily aimed towards businesses. And as you're probably aware, there are huge compliance regulations that are really sweeping pretty much all the industries. And now they're even going more horizontal with that. 38 states now have customer data privacy laws. Massachusetts has some of the stiffest, and it's believed federal laws will be passed soon. You're not allowed to send around customer information more than one piece of identifying information at a time. So this would be a perfect sort of use for that.
So you would white label it? Is that you would like as a service to companies, or there's just something in there?
Oh no, absolutely.
I mean, it could be part of a bank thing, but I wouldn't necessarily go to it.
This could absolutely. We're primarily targeting businesses. There is a free version, both for individuals and businesses, and we think we'll get a lot of distribution through that as well. Because one of the key things with secure messaging is exposing the end users to it, gaining some level of familiarity with it.
Can you give a specific use case where a business would be sending something that they need to encrypt individually as opposed to having an encryption system more generally for data that they're sharing either internally or through whatever trusted vendors? I mean, I'm trying to get a sense of like the one-off case where a business is sending something that they want to encrypt on the fly through a third-party service.
Attorneys are doing it every day. Contracts, all manner of legal documents. Some of the more savvy ones or more attentive ones are encrypting it now, but the user experience with those systems is pretty rough if any of you have actually used them.
One of the things I'm concerned about is how do you see this being really defensible? I mean, I could throw a developer at this and create Cryptify and have it up in a month and a half.
I completely agree. That was my next question as well.
Yeah, I think the simplicity probably doesn't do justice to the technology that's happening underneath. And this is a security project, and you don't do this stuff lightly. We've been at this for a while. We've talked to a lot of the leading security experts. There's a lot of innovations here. We have patent pending. I understand what you're saying based upon seeing how simple it looks. It's much more complicated, and if anyone wants to talk technically offline, we'd be happy to go into it.
So I don't have a question, but I have a comment. My background's actually in information security, and I actually really think this is pretty cool.
Thank you.
And I actually send credit card data a lot to people, and I end up SMSing it, so I think it's a pretty useful tool to be able to do that. And it definitely takes away the pain from having to use PGP keys. So thanks.
Right, yeah. No, thank you. PGP keys can be truly painful for everyone involved.
Okay. Oh, Dave. Introduce yourself.
I was watching this. I see a almost bigger market opportunity in marketing, right? If you can distribute a link and say, hey, you know, sign up for this and it expires today. And so you click the link and after, or, you know, the first 100 people to follow this link will get a free pass to the launch conference or whatever. That to me seems like a much larger market opportunity, much easier to monetize. The security feels very nichey. You got to win over almost every user. It's not incredibly viral in that, you know, they're very closed loops. If you get a law firm, you might have some success in getting it to trickle out further because every lawyer uses it. But, I mean, did you think about applying it to different verticals besides just secure information?
It's really geared towards secure information, and you certainly could do the use case you just described. I don't know if it properly leverages the security aspects. That would be an application I could see someone pretty easily replicating if it's not secure like that. To give you a sense of how big we think the market is, let's say that 1% of all the communications that are occurring in 5 years are of a sensitive nature, stuff people really don't want existing on other people's machines and whatnot. Through our API, through our platform, we think we can capture a pretty big percent of that, literally trillions and trillions of messages. And becoming the Twilio, becoming the Sympogeo for encrypted communications is one of our goals.
Just very quickly, are you encrypting this data, or what are you doing on the back end at a high level?
We are encrypting this data. We are encrypting, the current application encrypts it locally. The encrypted data or the key, you choose which one, is uploaded to our server. These others embedded into the link and then passed on to the recipient. So we cannot decrypt the data if we wanted to. And that's where a lot of the complexity comes in.
Yeah, but that analysis of the market, not to be passed here, overlooks one point, which is most security is as strong as its weakest link. So yes, there are cases of the government, WikiLeaks, things of that nature where it's very important that security is maintained at all levels, but in your average contract or whatever, you know, security is sort of important, but you know, the end machine, the end user. So I do think there's a huge opportunity when you look at marketing in other markets for the same technology.
Right, but to your point, it's sort of important. It's actually very important to people, but it doesn't quite overcome the hurdle of the difficulty of using the current tools. Give somebody a much, much easier tool and they'll realize I can get over that, and now I really can protect this info the way I should.
Quick straw poll of the audience. How many people have sent something like a social security number, credit card number, etc. over email in the last year? How many people felt nervous about doing so? Okay, so there is a market. I don't know if you'll get it, but really great product, and thank you for sharing it. Let's hear it for Lockify.
Excellent.
Thank you, Jason. Thanks a lot.